Alright, this is Andrew Jolly with Joda Home Inspections. We're here today at 4877 Pinewood Drive doing a sewer scope. We've got the camera pushed all the way out to what looks like the main line, the city connection. And we're going to record it and pull it back and see what we find. We are 109 feet out, which is pretty average. You can see some water running from neighboring properties, and maybe still a little bit from this one. Yeah, there's still a little bit of water draining. I've been running water to help push my camera out. This is a clay line. You can see that red color on the screen. That's clay, so this is the original pipe. One of the issues with clay is that it comes in little 3 and 4 foot sections, and so it's easier for it to settle in small amounts. Sometimes you'll get little flat spots. And then one of the other issues is it can separate. And as it separates, it'll create an offset or a little lip. And so I'm going to be watching for those. So far it's looking good. You can see here, this is where you'd get an offset. That's not even enough to really call it an offset. That's just a little tiny transition, a little bit of a lip. I'm not seeing any roots, which is great. That first connection where it went from your lateral line into the sewer line, the city line, looks good. It dropped into the line and not into the very bottom of it. It dropped into the top. Sometimes it'll drop right into the bottom, which makes it a little more likely for it to back up. This one looks great. I'm seeing some roots right here coming through this connection point. That's something where those roots can continue to grow and start to block the line. So that's something you want to consider having cleaned out. I also feel a little bit of a lip right there. You can see how my camera's a little harder to pull back right there, and then it kind of jerks it. Generally the offset's going to be in the direction of where it catches things as it goes down. But it does feel like a little tiny bit of a separation there. But in either case, the concern is the roots. You want to have those cleaned out in that spot. So this is a belly. This is a flat spot where you have some water building up. My camera's just barely peeking over the top of it so far. Underwater still, about 5 feet or so. So not incredibly long, and you can see how it's only the bottom of the line. So it is a little flat spot. It is a spot where it can build up with some debris, and that can catch on waste and solids as it goes down the line and cause a backup. But it's definitely far from the worst that I've seen. A lot of times you can have a little belly like this and it'll perform fine. Another little tiny offset right there. And it just transitioned into cast iron, so this is generally where it goes into the house. This is original pipe as well, and the issue with cast iron is it'll get rust that builds up like you're kind of seeing, and it gets very rough, and then that rust can catch debris and solid as it goes down, and so you want to avoid using wet wipes. Even if it says flushable, don't put them down your line. No feminine hygiene products down the sewer line. Really, you don't want to put anything down the line unless you absolutely have to. Eventually cast iron will start to flake, and it'll get thinner and thinner, and eventually get to the point to where it needs to be replaced. This one's looking pretty good. Cast iron can be deceiving in some cases where it can cover up a crack. But honestly, for cast iron, this one's looking a lot smoother than a lot that I see, which is great. So just to recap, you have clay and cast iron. Looks like it's all original. You do have a little bit of a belly for 5 or 6 feet or so. That's a spot where water is going to have to build up before waste can drain. And then you have cast iron, which is something that will eventually need to be replaced. You're about 110 feet out. So I'm going to end this recording now. Oh, and then last thing I'm going to mention as well, just to recap, you do have a root. And that root's something that's going to get bigger, and it can cause a backup, because as it gets bigger, it'll constrict the line. And so that's something you can consider having cleaned out now. If you push it, it's just going to get bigger. You know, it is on the top part of the line, which is nice. It's not catching on anything today, but the longer you push it, the bigger it's going to get, and the more likely it is to cause a backup. So I'm going to end this recording now.